National Aquarium. She's going to be coming over to the left-hand side, so get ready to say hello to Spirit. And last but not least, we'll meet Maya. Maya is Spirit's half-sister. She's also 11. In fact, her and Maya are exactly 1 month apart. This is Maya. Now, dolphins are able to perform amazing feats of strength, such as swimming at high speeds and jumping high out of the water. The how and why they do behaviors such as these is the subject of many scientific studies. Now, we already established that dolphins love to eat fish, but in the wild, those fish can be hard to catch. They are slippery and they move through the water pretty quickly, but so do the dolphins. They use their powerful tail or fluke, which they move up and down, to propel themselves at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. Now, that might not sound very fast, but this is swimming. If you or I were swimming, and if we train really hard, we could probably only max out at about 2 miles per hour. So the dolphins are doing more than 10 times what we can do. So go ahead and focus your attention around the perimeter of our pools and check out our dolphin speed. Swimming at these high speeds, dolphins do need to come to the surface because they are air-breathing mammals just like you and I. Now they breathe through the blowhole up the top of their head, so they've got this really cool, efficient way of being able to breathe while they're swimming. They do a behavior called porpoising. So all they do is they simply jump out of the water momentarily, take that big breath of air, and then they can dive back down and continue swimming. We're going to send our dolphins porpoising around the pool, and I'd like you guys to listen, see if you can hear them taking a breath as they come out of the water. Let's watch. Now dolphins leap in a number of other ways as well. They can breach, they can flip, they can spin. So why do they do these behaviors? Is it a form of play? Is it a way for them to communicate with each other? Or is there another reason we have yet to discover? The big question is, how do they get their bodies, which are 300 to 500 pounds, all the way up and out of the water? It's all a matter of their hydrodynamic shape and those strong tail flukes. Let's watch.
I couldn't think of the body.
Wow. I miss it.
So as you can see, our dolphins move pretty efficiently through the water, right? So scientists are studying dolphins, whales, and other animals to see how they move and how they use the mental effort to produce the maximum effect.
Look.
One scientist specifically
Daddy,
looked
look
at
at the
whales
dolphin.
first. So we're talking the large whales, like big baleen whales, like humpbacks and blue whales. On their flippers, they actually have bumps all over them. He found that those reduce drag in the water. So he applied that idea to the design of wind turbine blades. He put bumps on those blades. When he found that the turbines with the bumpier blades were actually able to produce more energy. Now, the behaviors that you see our dolphins doing here are natural behaviors that you see dolphins doing on their own, whether here in the aquarium or in the wild. But we simply train them, as I demonstrated before, using the training process for them to do it on specific hand cues. Now, we actually have a choice of 3 training behaviors, and we're going to go through the training process. Now, you guys go for which one you'd like to learn a little bit more about. So if you look to the screens, you'll find your choices are either a splash of behavior called a fluke fling, an aerial behavior called a flip, or an underwater behavior called a somersault. So we'll go ahead and vote by show of hands who would like to learn a little bit more about the fluke fling. All right. And who would like to learn more about the flip? Not surprised, all right. And the somersault? All right, well, I don't want anybody to leave disappointed. And it looks like there were votes for all of them. We'll start with the somersault since I had the fewest votes, and we'll go to the flip last. So go ahead and look at the screens. We'll show you how we train this. Now this behavior takes place down at the windows. Instead of using the target pole, we use the same concept just with our hand. So we move our hand along the window and move it in a downward motion. The dolphin follows it with their head, eventually flipping end over end. We have our dolphins performing that at both the windows. Eventually we can fade out. We use our hand down there at the window and we add in a hand signal sent back at deck from the trainers back there. The hand signal is what you guys are going to learn. So just pretty much mimic what I do. You're going to put your right arm straight out in front of you and then rotate your elbow out to the side just like that. Looks good. You guys are ready? We'll go ahead and set our dolphins. 1, 2, 3. And looks like Jade's going to come over to the left-hand side first. And here comes Maya over here on the right. Now, moving on to the fluke fling. For this one, we did use the target pole. This requires the dolphin to head underwater. So we take the target pole and we flip it, put it straight down in the water. Dolphin follows it with their head. Eventually, they end up with their tail or their fluke out of the water. We go ahead and blow our whistle, reinforcing every time they move that tail with a splashing motion. Now, of course, we want to get you guys wet and not us. So we then add a position person down here for our dolphins to do it out front. Eventually, we fade out that person, we fade out the target pole, and we add in a hand signal for that behavior. This is a fun one. You're going to put both hands up like this, and then simply slap your lap one time. Sounds good. All right, guys, ready? 1, 2, 3. Here comes Nani.
Daya, ¿se mojó?
And last but not least, front and center, here comes Maya. There's one more, right? The rest of you voted for, and that is the flip. So this is like that somersault you saw earlier, but it's going to take place in the air, thus requiring the target pole. So we start by moving that target in a circular motion, just under the water where the dolphin can easily follow it. Once they get that down, we raise that target a little higher, just like I did earlier. So instead of jumping straight up, they're flipping end over end. Eventually we fade out that target pole, and then we add in the hand signal. This is a real fun one. Take your left hand and put it up next to your head like this. Take your right hand and give yourself a high five. All right, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. And here comes Spirit. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Let's take one last look at Nani, Jade, Spirit, and Maya.
Bravo.
Todavía no, porque todavía la